Look at him, eating whatever he wants, never gaining a pound, while I'm stuck with the boring special and can't lose an ounce.
How's your lunch, man?
Amazing. Yours?
So good.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Cool, buddy.
Weight loss isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. The affordable GLP-1 source that can fix your frustration with food.
So, same time next week?
No!
Definitely.
And your friends. Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today and let us surprise you.
Voices for Justice is a podcast that uses adult language and discusses sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including violence, abuse, and murder. This podcast may not be appropriate for younger audiences. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Some names have been changed or omitted per their request or for safety purposes. Listener discretion is advised. My name is Sarah Turney, and this is Voices for Justice. Today, I'm discussing the disappearance of 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers from Hendersonville, Tennessee. When Sebastian went missing in February 2024, his case was immediately propelled into the media. And I get it. I mean, I don't know how anyone can see Sebastian smile and not want to help him. But, like we've seen in so many cases in true crime, the media pressure of Sebastian's case has hit a tipping point. He's been missing for just over 6 months. And the very few facts in this case are being drowned out by speculation. Despite authorities making several statements about how this is negatively impacting his case, it's done little to stop the insanity online. So today, I want to clearly separate the facts from speculation and see if we can make sense of what may have happened, and maybe tip the scales back to focusing on what really matters, bringing him home. This is the case of Sebastian Rogers. It's about 6 a.m. on Monday, February 26, 2024. We're in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and Katie Proudfoot goes to her son Sebastian's bedroom to wake him up for school. But when she gets to the door and peeks in, she realizes that his bed is empty. She searches the house and the surrounding area for Sebastian, but he's clearly not there. And really, nothing is gone except for Sebastian. All of his clothing and his cell phone are still there, and all 3 pairs of Sebastian's shoes were still right by the front door where he last left them. All that seems to be missing are his glasses and his favorite flashlight. After doing this quick search, Katie calls her husband, Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot. He was working a construction job out of town about 4 hours away in Memphis. After finding out what's going on, he calls the Sumner County Sheriff's Office to report Sebastian missing at about 6:20 a.m. Within 10 minutes, sheriff's deputies are at the door. And I am so pleased to report that they take this seriously. No nonsense about maybe he was a runaway and he'll be back soon. They check the house for Sebastian and confirm that there doesn't appear to be any signs of forced entry, and nothing appeared to be missing from the home. So they begin searching for Sebastian immediately. Over 200 searchers are joined by dogs, officers on horseback, and helicopters to search the immediate area. But they can't find 15-year-old Sebastian or any trace of him. So the Sumner County Sheriff's Office immediately contacts the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, or TBI. They issue an endangered child alert for Sebastian. This is an alert where there is a concern for the child's safety, and information is shared with the news media and on social media. It's basically like one step down from an Amber Alert. They put out the basic information about Sebastian. He's white, 15 years old, 5 feet 5 inches tall with sandy blonde hair, and weighed approximately 120 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. But the next day, after more searching and speaking with Sebastian's parents, this alert is upgraded to an Amber Alert. In Tennessee, the requirements for an Amber Alert are that the child is 17 years of age or younger, the child is in imminent danger of bodily injury or death, and there's a description of the child, abductor, or vehicle. According to the state of Tennessee's website, out of the hundreds of children reported missing each year, they on average activate less than 10 Amber Alerts per year. So this is a big deal for them. But Sebastian is autistic, barefoot, and requires medication. The risk factor here is just higher, so this upgrade makes sense. I also want to take a second to praise how they also got quite creative in their search for Sebastian. Authorities used his favorite song, Eye of the Tiger, in an attempt to lure him out should he be hiding. It didn't work. But it's just refreshing to see after our last few cases where authorities were slower to react and perhaps less enthusiastic about their searches. But the searches for Sebastian do continue. A pond near Sebastian's home was drained, and nothing was found. And a call for security footage from his neighbors and the local area was coming up empty. By March 3rd, local business owners donated $3,500 to establish a reward fund for Sebastian's case. And the very next day, authorities announced that they were scaling back the physical searches for Sebastian. But they didn't stop completely. On March 7th, the Kentucky State Police and deputies from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office searched the Hopkins County Regional Landfill near Madisonville. This is where the trash collected from Sebastian's neighborhood is taken. And authorities were very clear with the media that they didn't have any evidence that Sebastian may be in this landfill. It was just a precautionary measure, basically an effort to leave no stone unturned. And while they were able to pinpoint the exact spot where trash from his neighborhood was dumped in this landfill, it doesn't seem really anything came of this search. But then, a week later, WTVF News in Nashville announced that they obtained exclusive video surveillance from the night Sebastian went missing. I will say that this is not the only video clip that's been submitted in this case, according to Sumner County, but this is the first clip released to the public. And you guys, I know we talk a lot about terrible, grainy surveillance video and true crime, but this clip truly takes the cake. When I look at this video, I see very little. But let's talk about what investigators believe it may be. This video comes from a camera pointed at the back of Sebastian's home. Just after 3 a.m., again on the night he went missing, it captures what appears to be at least two people holding some type of light source. Many people say that they're holding flashlights, but this has been heavily debated. And I do want to note that there were no streetlights on Sebastian's block. So it wouldn't appear that these are just streetlights flickering or some odd camera glitch. Basically, what you see in this video is one person in the lower right-hand corner of the frame with, again, some type of light source. You can see a second person move towards the first person before their light source is obstructed by something or possibly turned off. That first person then moves out of the frame, the second person's light source reappears, and then they follow the first person out of the frame. After this, you can see what appears to be one person with a light source moving very quickly in the frame again. And that's really it. While authorities are trying to enhance this video, at this time no one can be identified. And again, we can't see much in this video. But seeing something holding light sources in Sebastian's backyard on the night he went missing certainly feels significant. And of course, with really just Sebastian's favorite flashlight missing, many people believe one of these figures could be Sebastian. As the public went absolutely wild for this video, the TBI made a statement about this clip, warning the public about it. Quote, "Many neighbors and businesses have provided video from home and business surveillance systems. We are grateful for that cooperation. The video has been collected, and from the beginning of the investigation has been analyzed and enhanced where possible by tech experts with the TBI, FBI, and Secret Service. To date, nothing gathered from these video systems has been determined to be significant. We do caution that some surveillance video being shared in the public may have been misrepresented or misidentified, or not shown in its entirety. It has been determined that it does not hold any evidentiary significance to the investigation, end quote. But this warning unfortunately did not stop people from sharing the clip and, quite frankly, becoming absolutely feral online. Media pressure is a double-edged sword, especially when a child goes missing. Having the entire world screaming about it can be a very effective tool in generating tips and hopefully bringing that child home. But like we've seen in a lot of cases, Sebastian's case quickly reached that tipping point, where people just cross that line of wanting to help to becoming obsessed and toxic. As the very few facts in Sebastian's disappearance faded into the overwhelming amount of speculation, it did negatively impact his case. At the end of March, the United Cajun Navy joined the search efforts for Sebastian. But just 6 days later, they pulled out of those search efforts, saying their volunteers were receiving threats. By April, the TBI publicly announced that social media has officially become a distraction in Sebastian's case. This episode of Voices for Justice is brought to you by Quince. I've been trying to be more intentional about what I wear each day. I'm leaning into pieces that feel effortless, comfortable, and still put together, and Quince has been my go-to. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are flattering, and everything just works without overthinking it. They use premium materials like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and ultra-soft denim. And the best part? Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality and craftsmanship, not brand markup. I recently just ordered their tiered linen dress, of course in black. I wanted to pair it with one of my favorite pairs of brown wedges. The problem was, I didn't have a brown purse, so I got that from Quince too. It's one of my favorite outfits. It's easy, effortless, and feels amazing, especially as we're getting a little bit warmer here in Phoenix. Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/justice for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/justice for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/justice. This episode of Voices for Justice is sponsored by Chewy. If you have pets, you probably know about Chewy, and you also know that when they say that they have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, they're not messing around. To keep them happy, Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the brands my pets love at prices I love. To keep them healthy, Chewy offers pet prescriptions, pet insurance, telehealth vet visits, and they're even rolling out vet clinics across the country. I've been shopping with them for a very long time. And in addition to the auto-ship feature that gets the dog's food to them every single month, I also love to experiment with different treats. But I'm a bit picky. For me, it has to be high quality with simple ingredients. I recently picked up treats from Shepherd Boy Farms that are 100% just chicken breast. Popcorn and Heber are already obsessed. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewpanions.chewy.com/Sarah E. Turney. That's chewpanions.chewy.com/Sarah E. Turney to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. chewpanions.chewy.com/Sarah E. Turney. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
By April 2024, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has been missing for about a month, and the TBI tells the public that they don't have much at this point. There's no evidence of foul play, but they're still considering all possibilities. A representative for the organization makes it clear that Sebastian's mother and stepfather, Katie and Chris Proudfoot, and his biological father, Seth Rogers, have all been cooperative in the investigation, but they will not state that they've been cleared of any possible involvement. I mean, basically, they have nothing. Or if they do, like I always say, they're not telling us about it. While a pair of glasses was found early in the investigation, they didn't belong to Sebastian. In May, there was also a photo of a teenager who did look a lot like Sebastian circulating online. It looked so much like him that Seth Rogers jumped into his car to drive to North Carolina to see for himself. But it wasn't him. And while there is surveillance video that appears to show at least 2 people moving, holding light sources in Sebastian's backyard on the night he went missing, the TBI says there's nothing in that video that they consider to be significant. All that's really left is speculation. And this speculation grows as Sebastian's parents begin doing media separately. In most interviews, it's Katie and Chris Proudfoot or just Sebastian's bio dad, Seth Rogers. Now, since we've discussed Katie and Chris Proudfoot, I wanted to give just a quick background here on Seth. While Sebastian did not live with his father, Seth, it appears that he was very active and present in Sebastian's life. He has shared physical custody and gets Sebastian every other weekend and during most of his breaks from school. He says he was about 45 minutes away at work when Sebastian was reported missing, and by all accounts has been quite active in the search for Sebastian. But in an April 6 interview with Court TV, Seth Rogers talks about a lot, and his statements contradict earlier statements made in this case. I found statements from Seth Rogers saying that Sebastian was not known to wander off. Katie Proudfoot has said something similar, that she knew something was wrong immediately because Sebastian was not a runner and had never run away before. But in this interview, Seth says that Sebastian has gone missing 3 times under Katie's care. Which I know going missing and running are not the same. But I just want to reiterate that it appears this is not the first time Sebastian has gone missing, at least according to Seth. He also says Sebastian was sexually abused by a minor in the past under his mother's care as well. I think what we see happening here is that while both sides were a lot more cordial in the way that they spoke about each other in the media at first, that kind of fades away as time goes on. Now, I'm not saying these statements are true or untrue. I just see a progression with the amount of information being shared as time goes on. And I will say that it also does seem like Seth is finding out a lot about Sebastian's home life right along with the public. Like that Child Protective Services had been called to the home in the past to investigate possible physical abuse. And Chris Proudfoot admitting to Nancy Grace that he had hit Sebastian with a belt in the past. To be honest, there's a lot more out there. Speculation about Chris's past relationships, his daughter that was living with them part-time. As people start coming out of the woodwork to be interviewed, a lot is said about the character of Katie, Chris, and Seth. But my goal with this episode is to try to make a piece of media that is not a distraction from Sebastian's case. I don't want to be another reason the TBI has to tell people to settle down. So I'm going to narrow that focus on what feels more critical to the circumstances surrounding Sebastian's disappearance. It seems that one of the largest points of contention in Sebastian's case is what really happened the day and night before he was reported missing. We haven't talked about that yet. The day before Sebastian went missing was a Sunday. It was just Sebastian and his mom Katie in the house. Chris is away for work, and Chris's daughter is away from the home as well. Katie says she and Sebastian took a trip around town, and Sebastian spent a lot of the day laughing, playing with their 2 dogs, and eating a lot of popcorn. But it's a school night, so Katie says that at about 9 p.m., Sebastian tells her he loves her and goes to bed. But about an hour later at 10, she hears him making some noise and hears a large thud. While Katie's statements have been a little unclear throughout her interviews, it appears she did not physically check on Sebastian at this time, but just kind of yelled, "Are you okay?" Sebastian responds that he is, and Katie says that he needs to go to bed. According to Katie and Chris, phone records confirm that they were on the phone for most of the night. And Katie falls asleep around midnight while still on the phone with Chris. Chris tells her to get to bed, and after taking care of her dogs, she does exactly that. But again, it's basically Chris and Katie's word against massive speculation that they may have harmed Sebastian. For what reason is a little unclear. According to Chris, he and Seth were discussing Sebastian going to live with Seth full-time. Again, for what reason is unclear. It seems both men were on board. but Chris was still trying to convince Katie when Sebastian went missing. But the TBI has all this information, and even more that may never see the light of day. And 6 months later, there have been no arrests in Sebastian's case.
What they did to your family, you're lucky to make it out alive.
Streaming on Peacock.
These men are going to come after me. Taking them out is my only chance.
Put a bullet in her head.
From the co-creator of Ozark.
Looks like a family was running drugs.
Execution-style killing is rare for the Keys. And it leads on who they might have been running for.
The cartel killed my family. I'm gonna kill them. All of them.
MIA. Streaming now. Only on Peacock.
So, what happened to Sebastian Rogers? One of the smallest yet biggest elements to me in Sebastian's case is him not having shoes on. According to Seth Rogers, Sebastian really didn't like being barefoot. So, Sebastian going missing without any shoes on is extremely concerning. And outside of some emergency situation like a fire or something, points to him not leaving the home willingly. Or as much as I hate to say it, even Sebastian walking out of that house versus being carried or transported somehow. If he was met with foul play, I think ensuring you take a pair of shoes to cover it up is an easy thing to miss in the moment. Seth is also adamant that his son would never leave with a stranger. Which doesn't make it true, but it is worth considering. Investigators have explored the possibility that Sebastian may have met someone online and been lured away from his home, possibly while playing one of his favorite games, Minecraft. But his parents say that while he did love playing the game, he didn't have online capabilities. Seth Rogers has also stated that while Sebastian did have a cell phone, they also blocked online access on that device as well. And if you don't want to take it from them, his cell phone and gaming system were examined by authorities, and they say nothing of significance was found. So while I think whenever a teenager goes missing, it's fair to consider that they may have met an adult online who aimed to harm them, this does seem less likely in Sebastian's case. And again, this doesn't explain why he wouldn't be wearing any shoes. Since nothing was taken from the home and there were no signs of forced entry, a burglary gone wrong does also seem unlikely. Authorities have executed numerous search warrants in this case, and vehicles in the area were tracked down and accounted for. But authorities have also been crystal clear that they have no evidence to confirm that Sebastian ever left his mother's home. At this point, investigators are still considering all options. While Chris and Katie Proudfoot have announced to the media that they've been cleared in Sebastian's case, Sebastian's father Seth has recently said that no one has been cleared. Not Katie, Chris, or himself. And while authorities have said multiple times that Sebastian's parents and family have all been cooperative, they do seem to really reiterate this sentiment that nothing is off the table. As of just a few weeks before this episode airs, the FBI and TBI reiterate that there's no evidence of foul play, and that there's no evidence that Sebastian's mother, biological father, or stepfather are involved in his disappearance. So what we're being told is that they are being cooperative, there's no evidence to suggest foul play or that his parents are involved. They're still not taking anything off the table. While it feels that we have few facts and a lot of speculation in this case, I'd argue that there's still hope that Sebastian can be found. Which brings me right to our call to action. While Sebastian's case feels incredibly frustrating because we have so little information, it is still very active. And I have a feeling that law enforcement knows a lot more than they're saying. The week of recording this episode, teams were still conducting searches for Sebastian. At the end of August 2024, the FBI announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to Sebastian. And in September, his family partnered with Dwayne Chapman, aka Dog the Bounty Hunter. He says he thinks Sebastian's alive and he's going to bring him home. He's also advertising a $100,000 reward. And Seth Rogers has been extremely vocal that he still needs people to help share his son's case. So please share. As a reminder, Sebastian Rogers was 15 years old when he was last seen in February 2024 in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He is white, and at that time he was 5 foot 5 inches tall with sandy blonde hair and weighed approximately 120 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. He does have known medical conditions. Anyone with information is asked to call the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. But as always, thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Voices for Justice is hosted and produced by me, Sarah Turney, and is a Voices for Justice media original. If you love what we do here, please don't forget to follow, rate, and review the show in your podcast player. It's an easy and free way to help us and help more people find these cases in need of justice. Welcome to the Secret After Show. The door is open, the puppies are in, Marley's on my lap squirming and yawning. Good yawn. Let's talk. So what's going on with me? Hi Marley. Marley is sitting in my lap is because he finally turned 18, which I feel like I've been talking about for like a year. Everyone's like, oh, he's 18 now. And really, I've just been talking about his birthday forever. But Marley is officially 18 now, which means he wants to get out of my lap. And as an adult, I'm going to let him do that. I just wanted to say thank you for all of the birthday wishes for Marley. Of course, he holds a very special place in my heart, not just because he is a dog I've owned for 18 years, which is insane. As you guys might remember from season 1 of Voices for Justice, Marley is the dog who never existed. Marley is the reason that on the day that our house was raided in 2008, I lost my cool. I was able to find 2 out of my 3 dogs, and when I asked where my third dog is, there was a brown one, a black one, and a white one. They're really easy to tell apart. When I asked where the small white one was, they said there was no small white dog. He did not exist, essentially. They really tried to like gaslight me and tell me that there was never a third dog there. And I lost my mind. But I obviously did eventually find Marley. He has never been the same. And yeah, so Marley, the dog who never existed, is now 18. Thank you for the birthday wishes for him. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys about is that I do have a fundraising team for Season of Justice. This is, I believe, the second time I've done it. I really try not to ask you guys for donations a lot, but I will for the organization because it is an amazing cause. If you guys have not heard of Season of Justice, you probably have not been listening to the show, but I'm on the board. I'm a founding board member. I helped create basically the family grants program to be everything I needed for Alyssa. But in short, we fund cold cases. We give money to labs for testing in cold cases, and we also provide funding for families for awareness campaigns. We have done a ton of solves already. We have helped so many families. I can't even remember the numbers right now, but you can learn more at seasonofjustice.org. And essentially, what's happening in September is we have our annual Day of Giving. And what's really cool about that is during this, basically until September 25th, 2024. So if you're listening in the future, sorry, you missed out. You can still donate, but this probably isn't going on. But essentially, we are getting donations matched dollar for dollar up to $5,000. So if you donate $10, that counts as $20. So I will have all that information in the episode description. I would really love if you, have the money to donate. I know not everybody does, so please, no pressure. But if you do, if you're still searching for charities to donate to before the end of the year, of course, we are a 501c3, so there is a tax deduction there. But if you're looking for a good org to donate to that really, I promise, does make a tangible impact in this industry, Season of Justice is that. Again, everything will be linked, and until September 25th, those donations are doubled up to $5,000, or matched, I should say. So again, donate $5 and it counts as 10. It's really fantastic. It really does help these families and help solve cases. But on to the case. Gosh, where do I even begin with this one? The reason I picked it, I guess, is where I'll begin, and that's because of the mass amount of insanity I've seen online. And I have been following Sebastian's case. I mean, how could you not? It's everywhere. So I have seen it, I've been following it, and also the perils of what's happening online. It's so insane. So again, I've done this in the past where I take these, pretty popular cases sometimes, and try to just like simplify them and cut through the noise of what, I guess, what I think is important, because I'm sure a lot of people will listen to this episode and argue that I left out A, B, and C about whatever speculation. But this is how I like to do these cases. You can go hear hours and hours and hours of rampant, insane speculation if that's what you want. That's not what I do here. So I really hope that this was a boiled down, digestible version of Sebastian's case that, again, hopefully sparks some leads. And on my list here, I have credit where credit is due. That the authorities on this case were a breath of fresh air. My goodness. And again, maybe we've been on like a weird bad streak. It's not something I really track. But, we've had a few cases back to back where it's like, what are authorities doing? Stop telling people to wait 48 hours. Stop saying that they're just a runaway and they'll be back home. This is truly a case where Sumner County Sheriff's Office said, hey, we see something major here, and they jumped right on it, and so did the TBI. I know that Seth Rogers is advocating for, for Sebastian's case, to be worked by the FBI. Now, and I get it, like, after an agency works a case, you want those fresh eyes, so we don't know where that's going to go. Out of a lot of cases I've seen in true crime, of course, no organization, no search effort, no case is perfect. But I have to say that I think the authorities in this case seemed to care. They were on it right away. They got creative, and they continue to be on it. So again, I am not the family. Always trust them for how they feel about the investigations. But from where I'm sitting, it's a lot better than we often see. In terms of media discrepancies, that is like the biggest barrier in this case is there's almost like a conflicting point for everything you find. And it was extremely difficult to navigate, but again, I hope I did an okay job. On to our segment of hope. And you've probably already heard of this. It is happening in real time. It is huge. It is everywhere. And it's not definitively linked to a case, but this isn't a case update. This is a segment of hope. So this comes from WSOC TV 9, and the article title is Authorities in Cleveland County Tow Car Resembling Vehicle Sought in Aisha Degree Case. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Aisha Degree's case, I don't know how. It is one of the biggest cases in true crime. I did cover it quite some time ago, and it's one of those cases that I think just sticks with a lot of people. As much as I wish every case sticks with people, Aisha's is just one that I hear about all the time. But if you're not familiar, Aisha was 9 when she went missing from Shelby, North Carolina on really the early morning hours of February 14th, 2000. They don't know exactly why, but she basically packed her book bag and left in the middle of the night during a rainstorm, which obviously makes it very confusing. People want to know why. But one of the biggest things in this case was this vehicle that may have picked her up. Let me get the exact description for you. Essentially, the FBI believes that Aisha was picked up in a green car, either a 1970s model Lincoln Continental Mark IV or a Ford Thunderbird with rust around the wheel well. And basically, this car that was towed out of this property matches that description. It's, a funky old green car. And like I said, this has not been definitively matched to Aisha's case, but the location makes sense. All these detectives are basically swarming this property. And I guess all I can say is even if it's not connected to Aisha, hopefully it's connected to something and leads to a resolution. I think the law enforcement presence alone shows that this is a major deal. I know this isn't the most satisfying segment of Hope, but this is what hope looks like sometimes. A revelation without answers. But hopefully in time, we will get those answers, and this vehicle, this massive law enforcement presence, leads to something. But as always, thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you next time.